Good afternoon and welcome to Joy News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokoblemle, Accra, and also live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Our headlines this afternoon: the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice confirms receipt of a petition from a private citizen to investigate the Sammy Gyamfi gift controversy. The petition also alleges that over 100 million cedis has been deposited into Sammy Gyamfi's account since he assumed office at the Gold Board, now prompting a call for investigation. We'll also hear the opposition New Patriotic Party's call for the Office of Special Prosecutor and Criminal Investigation Department to investigate the activities of Sammy Gyamfi. And a little later in the bulletin as well, former NSB boss Kwabena Edubuahin rearrested as his lead lawyer Samuel Atacha says his client will divulge top national security secrets if that's what he has to do to defend himself in the ongoing trial.
In which he had the freedom, why didn't they deal with the matter? And they'll leave it till midnight and rearrest him. Is somebody very excited, incarcerating another Ghanaian with all manner of tactics and who aid justice. And that is unfortunate.
Also, this afternoon, will not move. Ghana railway workers stage indefinite sit-down strike over months of unpaid wages and crumbling work conditions.
And then 13 days of this month, nothing is being heard from management. And we don't know what is going on. So we wanted to know why we haven't been paid and when are we going to be paid. So that is why you see the workers here.
Well, more as the workers call for total privatization, saying Ghana Railway Company Limited is on its knees. Well, we'll bring you these plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Please stay for details. Thank you for staying with us this afternoon. Our first story: the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, CHRAJ, has confirmed to Joy News that it has received a petition from a private citizen to investigate the CEO of Gold Board, Sammy Gyamfi, over his dollar gift controversy. The private citizen, Eric Dumevi Akachi, also alleges that over 100 million cedis was deposited into Sammy Gyamfi's account since he assumed office at the Gold Board, prompting a call for investigations. The Gold Board CEO has faced intense backlash after he was seen in a viral video gifting an undisclosed amount of US dollar to self-styled evangelist Patricia Odro-Koranten, popularly known as Agrada. Now, let me bring you excerpts of that petition, which will be on your screen now. Says that I write in my personal capacity as a citizen of the Republic of Ghana with a civic duty provided for under Article 41F of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. Sir, I formally bring this petition under Article 218E of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana with regards to videos in circulation about Mr. Samuel Gyamfi, a public office holder who was captured on camera splashing dollars on one Agrada in his Range Rover. It continues to say, as a public interest advocate, it has come to my attention that the said Samuel Gyamfi currently has two private bank accounts with Consolidated Bank Ghana. One is a dollar account and the other being a CD account. It also goes on to say, further credible intelligence reveals that these two accounts have a whopping sum of over 100 million Ghana cedis as lodgement in those accounts. It is important to understand that this account, I'm reliably informed through credible intelligence that prior to his current position, those accounts never had that said substantial inflows. And also this, I contend, including the slashing of dollars on 10th May 2025, leading to one and only irresistible conclusion with the accuracy of mathematics that these are perfectly instances of alleged engagement in suspected corruption, which falls within the investigative mandate of this commission. And I am, by this complaint, calling for a full-scale investigation into the source of the money. I am verily aware and believe the same to be true, that your office would give this petition the needed consideration and attention it deserves. And it would be signed by the petitioner as Eric Dumenu Akachi instead of Dumevi. His name is Eric Dumenu Akachi. Let's speak to him. We get to engage him now. Mr. Akachi, please, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. So, beyond your reasons in this petition, what is the main reason why you're petitioning you're petitioning Shraj this afternoon?
Thank you, and my greetings to your viewers and listeners. I can tell you that the only reason for this petition is that we are a country that is crying for more money, corruption, allegations here and there. And more times, when these things come to the public domain, we treat it as such. But there are institutions of state that are clothed with powers to do such investigations and bring any perpetrator to book. So I have been a crusader long ago. I have been someone who championed a fight against corruption. So that is the main purpose, for Shraj to investigate the claims and also come out with any substantial report that either vindicates the person or otherwise indict him.
Well, I may not be Shraj, but I'm quite curious. What's the source of your intelligence?
I cannot disclose that on television, but I have a lot of people that are engaged to do my fact finding. So it is not appropriate that I disclose such names on television. I have not even sought their permission to also do that disclosure.
Okay.
So it's inappropriate to do that.
But for this video, would you have petitioned Shraj on any public official, or because of the video, that's what prompted you to petition Shraj?
It's because of the video.
What in the video?
Because of the video. Well, if you look at it, we are barely 5 months into this government. So if a public officer is seen in public giving out dollars, and we are in Ghana, it's not even Ghana, giving out dollars to people, who knows the number of people that dollars have been given? Is only the one that we've seen on television that we can speak to. But those that have not been captured, we can't speak to it. So it's proper that we put some of these petitions forward so that proper investigations can take place. And it will also serve as a deterrent to those who occupy public office, so that they know that citizens are watching. This time the youth are watching, and we are not going to take anything for granted.
If it was
cities accountable.
If it was cities or a checkbook, would you have petitioned Shraj?
If it was a CD or a checkbook too, I would have still petitioned Shraj.
Will it matter the amount?
The fact that I've come up with, because if I had, it's not just about the money, but based on the fact and the intelligence that I have picked together with my lawyer who have directed to file, I think there's enough for me to petition Shraj. So even if it were CD and I've come across this fact, I would have still petitioned Shraj.
Right. So you say that because of what's in the video, and so, but if it was CD, will the quantity as well matter?
Yes, the quantity will matter.
Okay.
It will matter, because if you are giving an amount of money to an individual, and
how much?
A public officer,
how much?
We need to,
on the face of it for this video, how much would you have not petitioned Shraj on if you had seen? Because of course we saw him counting. We don't know the denomination, but how much would you have not petitioned Shraj? And what are you expecting? What are your expectations from Shraj?
If I had petitioned, come again?
So how much, if you had seen in that video, would you not have petitioned Shraj?
It is not about the amount of money that was given. It's about the intelligence that I picked after the video.
You say that the video is what triggered.
So even if it was 200 Ghana cedis, and I have picked intelligence that this amount of inflows is going to this person's account, I would have still gone to petition Shraj to find out the source of income.
I agree.
But if I had seen that there's no much inflows into the account, there's no need for me to petition.
Okay. Do you have any concerns of your safety since you petitioned Shraj?
Yes, I receive a lot of threats. Some individuals are giving me messages and threatening me. I have them on my phone, so I'm even planning to move to the nearest police station, where I'll lodge an official complaint to the police.
Okay. Please, thank you for talking to us. Now, we have a lawyer Hesimam also joins us, and we want a bit of clarity and some education this afternoon. So, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Does splashing money in public automatically amount to corruption under Ghanaian law?
Yes, good afternoon to you and your viewers or listeners alike. It is one of fact and law. The fact that a public officer dishes out money does not necessarily constitute an offense against public law.
Okay, but for this particular case, how strong is it based on partly a viral video and intelligence? I mean, he mentions that after the video, he sought more intelligence and realized that there's some amount of money in his account, which is why he's petitioning Siraj. If you put all of this together, how strong would he have as a case?
Okay, I mean, for the basis of education, I would proceed, but I am in no way acting as his legal advisor or to run down the petition as he seeks to prosecute at Siraj. He comes under Article 41F, which says that he seeks to protect and preserve the public property and also expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. So the first question is, he is coming under that particular clause of the 1992 Constitution. The question is whether or not what happened falls under this particular invocation of the clause. That would be the first barrier for him to cross. If he's unable to cross that, the petition fails. Now, the second part of it is we look at the functions of Siraj under Article 218, which, in looking at it, we first look at 218A, which deals and mentions a number of things, including to investigate complaints of violations of human rights and freedom, injustice, so corruption, abuse of power, and an unfair treatment of any person by a public officer in the exercise of his official duty. So I would imagine that he would rather want to deal with corruption and abuse of power.
Okay.
Now, again, if he's able to cross this threshold, it means that the petition will survive. Now, the third limb of it has to do with the part of his petition which mentions that he has reason to believe that the man has starched. When I say the man, I'm talking about Sammy Gyamfi, has starched some colossal amount of money in his account.
Right.
And that by that reasonable belief, he has infringed on the laws. Now, he did, Sammy Gyamfi did public declaration, and by that, Siraj would have to look at whether or not what he's saying is true. And as a petitioner, he who alleges must prove. So if you are saying he has all those things, you must prove that indeed he has all that to that extent. He has. So he has a tall order. It is just not filing a piece of paper, and that suffices to conclusion.
Well, so he mentions that he's unable to disclose his source of intelligence. Given that in the process he's still unable to disclose his source of intelligence, can Siraj take a personal interest in this matter and want to compel the people who gave the source of intelligence so that it can aid in their investigation?
So then the point would be, whatever his intelligence is, I mean, he's not under compulsion to provide that on TV. But during the investigation and subsequently the hearing, he must bring that to light.
Right.
And indeed, if the gentleman, that's the respondent, is also protected under law by confidentiality in respect of the banking law, so that if he has certain people who are disclosing his bank accounts to, it is also for the respondent to see which legal options he could exercise. I would also not act as his advisor, but he's also a lawyer. He knows what to do. I mean, as with the reputation of the bank that his account is domiciled with. So the petitioner has a full order to satisfy. It is just not enough to allege these things.
Right.
And as it has rightly been said, a multitude of suspicions can never materialize into evidence. So he has a lot to prove.
Finally, amidst all of this, should Sammy Gyamfi still be at post?
Would leave that to Shraj to determine.
Okay, right. Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Now, meanwhile, the opposition New Patriotic Party is asking for immediate sanctions and investigations into Gold Board CEO Sammy Gyamfi's activities after videos surfaced showing him distributing US dollars to self-styled evangelist Patricia Isiama, widely known as Nana Agrada. Speaking at the NPP's headquarters, the party's national organizer, Henry Nana Boachi, alleged that Mr. Gyamfi's actions violate Ghana's Foreign Act Exchange, anti-money laundering laws, and the Code of Conduct for Public Officials.
Which has been condemned, and rightly so, by well-meaning Ghanaians and institutions, including international bodies and other CSOs, like the Transparency International, is a patent indiscretion which breaches several laws of the land, and more importantly, mocks and makes nonsensical the recently enacted Code of Conduct by President Mahama. Among the several laws breached by the National Communications Officer and the acting CEO of Gold Board are the Foreign Exchange Act, the Anti-Money Laundering Act, and then also the Code of Conduct, which was outlawed by His Excellency the President just about a week ago, exactly a week ago. Among the several laws breached by Sammy Gyamfi are Section 3, 1, and 4 of the Foreign Exchange Act, Act 723, which prohibits a person engaging in the business of dealing in foreign exchange without a license issued under the Act. Dealing in foreign exchange under the Act includes the receipt or payment of foreign currency, which Sammy Gyamfi is seen to have been doing in the video. The law, in its letter and spirit, prohibits stacking of dollars as it maintains the Ghana cedi as the sole legal tender. The cedi is the sole legal tender.
Well, my colleague Kenneth Jesse was at the NPP news conference and joins us with updates. Kenneth, beyond what we have just heard, what else has the NPP been saying?
Well, the NPP has also been drawing comparisons between this issue and the one that happened during the President Kufuor's tenure, when the former sanitation minister Cecilia Abdullah-Tafa was found with over $1 million in her house. Now, they're saying that Sammy Gyamfi was one of the fiercest critics of this particular issue. And in that instance, they say that the former sanitation minister was forced to resign, and she was subsequently investigated by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, but was found not guilty. So they are proffering the same things be done to Sammy Gyamfi. They've also questioned where, for example, he got his latest Range Rover, which they are valuing at $350,000 US. They said that he has never been paid since he assumed office. So they wonder where he got those monies. They've also questioned President John Dramani Mahama. They called on him to apply his code of ethics, and they have labeled it as useless if it is not applied to Sammy Gyamfi due to the opulent lifestyle he has been displaying since he assumed office as Gold Board CEO.
Thank you, Kenneth. We also know that up until yesterday, Sammy Gyamfi had been invited. Thank you, Kenneth. But Sammy Gyamfi had been invited by the Chief of Staff. We'll bring you updates as to what has happened with that meeting. But just away from that slightly, just in, the Medina Magistrate Court has granted bail to Daniel Owusu-Karanting, who was arrested in connection with the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale. Still in court, we'll bring you update on that. But former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Edubuahin, has been rearrested. That's according to his lawyer, Samuel Atachia, who has been speaking to our legal affairs correspondent, Lateef Indusu, after a court order for prosecution to file witness statements on or before May 26th. Mr. Atachia says his client, Kwabena Edubuahin, will divulge top national security secrets if that is what he has to do to defend himself in the ongoing criminal trial.
Mr. Edubuahin was rearrested. What exactly did you mean?
Well, the judge, at the last sitting, the judge ordered that he should have his freedom yesterday. And they said they have another matter that they are investigating concerning him. So when he was supposed to have his freedom, by their calculation, they released him midnight and then rearrested him on the basis of the newfound matters they were looking at. But the question is, in the period in which he had the freedom, why didn't they deal with the matter? And they'll leave it till midnight and rearrest him. Is somebody very excited, incarcerating another Ghanaian with all manner of tactics who aid justice. And that is unfortunate.
So is he in the custody of Yoko right now?
It's gone back to Yoko, and I'm going there now for me to come to terms with what is the new matter, what is the new issue. See, because he's been there all this while, and if there were serious matters of consequence, and he's on bail, huge bail, 80 million Ghana cedis bail. He's living nowhere. Edubuahin's name and that of Angela, they are all over the nation. Our borders and our airports, they are going nowhere. So I believe that we should come clean that this is not a personal vendetta. This is a man that you believe you have some criminal case against, and give him space to defend himself. And give him also the freedom that now the Supreme Court has decided that there's no case which is not bailable, including murders, provided always they will exact on you conditions for you to appear before the court to defend yourself.
Well, away from the courts, and I'll take you back to the Sammy Gyamfi controversy. Sources at the Jubilee House have confirmed that Chief of Staff summoned Sammy Gyamfi to the presidency on Monday. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Akbakba joins me via Zoom with more. Maxwell, what do we know? Maxwell, kindly unmute if you can hear me.
Yes, indeed, our sources have confirmed to us that Sammy Gyamfi pulled up at the presidency on Monday morning in response to that summons issued by the Chief of Staff. Our sources at the presidency tell us that it was a short but intense, meeting with the Chief of Staff clearly outlining the position, of the government to the acting Gold Board CEO and letting him know that the presidency views the matter seriously. Now, our sources at the presidency tell us that the presidency will be taking a decision on the matter in the coming days. Those who've been speaking to at the Jubilee House tell us that Sammy Gyamfi, usually when he visits the presidency, is in a hearty and chatty mood. But this time around, he left that meeting with the Chief of Staff in a very somber mood, with some of them saying that it kind of describes how serious that meeting, was. So that is what we're picking up from our sources, at the presidency. We're told that the presidency will be taking a decision, in the coming days. Indeed, there's confirmation that he was at the presidency to respond to summons issued by the Chief of Staff to the State Department.
Well, Maxwell, beyond Sammy Gyamfi's visit to the Jubilee House, what else do we know? We know that the president is also out of the jurisdiction.
Yes, the president, we know since last week, has been out of the jurisdiction. At least since Sunday, we know that he's been out because when we saw a photo of him together with the vice president wishing Mother's Day, and then on Monday also, he was in Togo, Lomé, where he attended the African Union Debt Sustainability Conference. Indeed, we know that President Mahama is the champion of the AU, African Financial Institution. So there, we delivered a key message at that conference that happened in Togo, Lomé. Today also, he is in the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire, sometime between 9 o'clock to 9:30. He delivered a speech specifically focusing on Ghana's oil sector. It was a conversation that happened at the Africa CEO Forum there in Côte d'Ivoire. And he's been talking about how the previous administration created a toxic environment that drove out, some of the investors, within the sector. And he's also been talking about what his government is doing to stabilize, the economy and what they're doing to improve the lives of people.
Right. Thank you, Maxwell. That's quite a lot happening from the Jubilee House or the presidency. But away from the president and the presidency, voting is underway in the Nkranza North and South districts to elect new assembly members. The exercise, which started at 7 a.m., has experienced low turnout, with less than 10% of voters turning up across some polling stations in the district. Anas Sabit is on the ground and joins us live with more. Anas, that is quite a novel that the turnout is quite low. Can you confirm this, or has it changed since it started at 7 a.m.?
MFI, the situation is still same. We have only a handful of people turning out to vote. Currently, I'm stationed at one of the polling stations with over 600 registered voters, and we are learning that only 43 persons have turned out to vote. That is way below the 10% figure I gave earlier in the day. As I speak with you now, the regional minister, Mr. Francis Anchi, is equally here on monitoring of the exercise. Let me have a minute's engagement with him to have his take on this exercise so far and his impression about the turnout we are recording here. So let's engage the Honorable Regional Minister, who is the #1 gentleman of the region. Honorable, thank you so much for having you speak with us. What's your impression about the exercise so far?
Thank you for the opportunity given. In the first place, I want to thank your viewers and your listeners as well. In fact, here is in Nkranza South, and from here I will move to Nkranza North. As a minister, I have to come around to look at the current situation, and I must be frank.
Did I lose the minister, and did I lose Anas? Well, fortunately, I did lose them, but I will bring you whatever the minister said in our subsequent bulletins. But away from, well, thank God I have Anas back.
About 3 or 4 police stations, but the turnout is still low. The reason is that today is a market day for Nkranza South, and it has affected the whole process. So I believe that going forward, we have to look at the date that this type of elections will take place. So humbly, I want to suggest that any other day apart from Tuesdays, which is the market day from Nkranza South, it's expected to be considered. Now, when you look at the entire environment, it's very calm. We have not experienced any chaos. In fact, the few people who are coming in, they come in gently, do their vote, and then return gently as well. The environment or the situation is calm. I must attest that.
Is there any step that we are taking to whip up people to come and vote in the next couple of hours?
Yes, for now, we've advised the people around to also communicate to their colleagues that the exercise is not encouraging. So whoever has not yet voted should be come down to also vote. This process is very important. And I believe after 3 p.m. going, the market people will have time to also come and participate. Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That is the Honorable Regional Minister, Francis also Anchi, sharing with us his impression about the exercise so far. So we are still on the grounds. It's past midday with less than 10%, voter turnout. We hope and pray that by the close of polls at 5 p.m., the situation will turn with quite a number of persons coming out to vote in this particular election.
NASA's report, hundreds of rail passengers were left stranded this morning after workers of the Ghana Rail Company Limited laid down their tools. The workers are protesting months of unpaid salaries and are also asking for improved working conditions. They say efforts to get the attention of the management have yielded no results.
We will be paid. And then 13 days of this month, nothing is being heard from management. And we don't know what is going on. So we wanted to know why we haven't been paid and when are we going to be paid. So that is why you see the workers here.
Yourself, how are you coping without salary for 7 months? How are you coping?
Very, very bad. For me, it's my wife who controls the house now. I've now become the woman and my wife is now the man, doing everything for us, which is very, very, very bad on my side. And I think same to my people here.
Let me engage more people here. Good morning, please. What's your name?
My name is Kobra Mros.
No problem. Move it to me.
Midday, Kobra Mros. Now, crisis a woman today. Masa, oya din papa. It's a air no notion. It's a web school. School will be. Most of them yamba private school. It's a result of kitemi. A 2 months oya adia adan ko school last year. But because of Aketano 120, into me member school. Obi yale common 20 cities or Boko to Mpakun Wewu. Last 2 weeks, we were 20 cities na fan ko to do Wewu. Ntabadi na mpemfu no wadre yan. Nti yenya management no de wombla, womaka bibin chen. Ayen dem dia chenu, anya de obey adwuma. So kan ka chefu won twa kampa yepe. Because yenye adwuma no won sisien. Nti yema abana so nti de yempemfu no yentumi won nye adwuma bio. So one system painful na say them painful but adwuma no dia adwuma no wegu totally adwuma no wegu nti one system painful man.
So apart from the demands say you betua moka 7 months aketua no more saying the adesrede to aban him say omunyi mu mpanimfo be na come
management from MD to final them painful no dey adwuma nanim no.
That's the Ghana Railway Company.
Ghana Railway Company. Odo you when edi when you when edi pado chwangum. Because nyame bi wo ho a mpemfu no di seyen nyame bi wo mpemfu no di seyen nti when you na di total ado you na di so when you na di na say wo discapo be shade manim na dem mpemfu no bogwa nyame ma ye bokofom ye betina fom.
Right, Benjamin, what he said is that they've not been paid for about 7 months, and as a result their children they are reopening school and they do not have money to even pay for their school fees, not to even talk of providing for them, and as a result they are demanding that government should release their salaries for them, their 7 months unpaid salaries, and also they are demanding that the management for the Ghana Railway Company Limited also they sack them and make sure that they get new management.
We're still waiting for the reaction or the response from the Ghana Railway Company. But away from that, Fisheries Minister Emilia Arthur says she is taking a number of steps, including delisting some non-compliant shipping vessels in the bid to sanitize Ghana's fisheries sector. For years, Ghana has remained on the European Union yellow card due to the prevalence of illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing activities, a move which is likely to cripple seafood from Ghana. Speaking at the commissioning of the Fisheries Commission Board in Accra, Emilia Arthur hinted at a wide range of policy decisions to tackle the challenge. There's more in this report.
Ghana's fisheries sector has been flagged by the international community due to the prevalence of illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing activities. This is placing a lot of expectations on the newly inaugurated Fisheries Commission Board, which will oversee, evaluate and ensure compliance functions.
Yeah, the sector has suffered a lot over the years. The catch levels have been going down. There is no doubt about that. And we have significant IUU activities within the sector, the capture fisheries sector, from the small scale to the large scale fisheries. So there's the need for us to look at that. We have also IUU among the large scale fishers, the trawlers, which we also have to tackle. We have pollution in our water bodies that are making it difficult for the waters to be used for aquaculture, and that also has to, as an issue of concern.
Also speaking at the brief swearing-in ceremony, Fisheries Minister Emilia Artan indicated that a number of steps are being taken to sanitize the fisheries sector.
In terms of IUU, there are a number of things that we have to do. One is to review our law, current law, to reflect international standards, international laws, and also some of the things that need to change. The process started in the last Parliament, but it didn't finish. And once Parliament rose without passing the bill, it has to start from the beginning. So we've started again, and as I speak to you, there is a 3-member team working on the bill right now. One of the major issues for us is enforcement, and enforcement requires we have a unit, the Fisheries Enforcement Unit, which is supported by Navy and Marine Police and what have you. There's an extent to which they can go, but then to go up seas and do more of the enforcement requires that we own a patrol boat, which we don't have yet.
Government remains hopeful that its remedial steps will go a long way to sanitize the fisheries sector. Blaise Sogan's report for Joy News.
The news today, please stay for business.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Ghana is on track to meet its IMF program of lowering the country's debt to GDP ratio ahead of schedule, potentially before the initiative concludes in May 2026 and well ahead of the fund's 2028 target. George Yafe tells us more.
This is based on fresh projections coming from Barclays UK to its investors that Ghana's debt to GDP ratio will reduce to 51% for the first quarter of this year, from 61% ending December 2024. This can be attributed to the city's record performance and the expansion of the economy for the first 6 months of this year. This is the second major target under the IMF initiative that Ghana is achieving even before it ends the fund program. The first was the Bank of Ghana's dollar reserves hitting the required target even before the program ends. All these developments, some analysts have argued that could feed into the current positive market sentiment, a move that could aid in the stability of the Ghana cedi.
The Ghana Shippers Authority has assured of completion of the Bonkra Inland Port project in the Ashanti region aimed at enhancing movement of goods to the northern sector of the country and other West African countries, according to the Chief Executive Officer of the authority, Professor Ransford Jampo. The government is committed to seeing to the completion of the project despite challenges being encountered. More from Nanaya Ojima.
The project, executed by a local construction company, Justmo Construction Limited, aims to reduce congestion at the Tema port, improve efficiency in cargo handling, and provide a one-stop logistics facility for importers, exporters, and logistics service providers. CEO of Ghana Shippers Authority, Professor Ransford Jampo, who was at the site to inspect progress of work, expressed his satisfaction with work done so far.
Bonded warehouses have been erected, they are being cladded, pavement works have been done, and all other activities that are supposed to be done to ensure that the project complete, at least the phase 1 of the project is completed. They are all ongoing. And so I think that this is one of the major infrastructure projects that a nation like Ghana, a developing nation, country like Ghana, would need.
The Buankra Inland Port project is expected to have a significant impact on Ghana's economy, providing a much-needed boost to trade and commerce. Once completed, the facility will offer a range of services, including warehousing, container storage, customs clearance, among others. The Chief Executive of Justmo Construction Limited, Dr. Justice Amo, in an interview after the site meeting with Ghana Shippers Authority, appealed for timely financial disbursements.
But for financing, the project would have been completed. Now that they have noticed the work done so far, they should ensure the disbursement is prompt.
Project consultant Dr. J.B. Cranton York noted that the phase 1 of the project is nearing completion.
Currently, the Western Line is being constructed. That is from Takrady Port all the way to Kumasi. I think the new KGTR, which is Eduardine, is the destination. From Eduardine to Buankra, it's about 65 kilometers. And we are also working with GSA, GRDA, and the Ministry of Transport to ensure that that missing link is done.
For Joy News, Nana Yaojima, Buankra.
That's it for business. Sports is next.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sports here on Joy News today with me, Muftaru Nabila Abdullah. Former Germany international Gerald Asamoah says that African countries are not ready to win global competitions. Speaking to my colleague Nathaniel Atto on Joy Sports Link, he enumerated reasons why he believes that African countries are far away from winning the FIFA World Cup.
I think this is a dream for us to see an African team win the World Cup. I think I'll do everything to see. I want to see this. I want to see this before I leave this earth. But I think it will be amazing seeing. But I think it's not going to be easy. Let's talk about yet the next World Cup. Let me be honest with you. I hope Ghana makes it because it seems like it's going one way. But let's look to the teams. I think it's about the teamwork, and this is a problem what we Africans sometimes have. We have always some issues in the teams. Who is bigger than this? But going to the OPL teams, being a German team, there was nothing bigger. We have an aim. We want to win this cup, and we went for it. And I've never been. But what I see from outside is like, I'm not talking about jealousy. It's like we need to try to be a team, because Morocco showed it, because Morocco was a team. You saw how they improved, how they were reacting, and to come back to your question, I think it would take a bit to see an Africa team winning a World Cup, because maybe the World Cup need to be around us here. Yeah, maybe you saw how
when Morocco co-hosts it together with Portugal and
for example,
Spain.
It will help us really about the weather, everything. Maybe it helps out because we are used to the weather. But if you ask me now, I can't even see a team now who I say, okay, they will be the team who could win the World Cup. Now we are talking about Morocco. No, it will be hard. It will be hard. It will be hard. It will be hard just to say, okay, yes. Let me say the next 10 years, one African team is going to win. I wish it will happen, but I think it will be hard. maybe the coasting, what you said about Portugal and Morocco, maybe this would be a chance for us to get the Africa team to get over and to semi-final. We nearly did it in South Africa, semi-final Ghana, and who knows.
The National Paralympic Committee paid a visit to the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Kofi Adams, in his office. And my colleague, Lambana Defiamapa, was there and has details in this report.
The meeting, which was held at the NSA headquarters at the Accra Sports Stadium, was aimed at congratulating Mr. Ankra on his recent appointment and seeking the authority's support ahead of the upcoming Para Power Sports Festival scheduled for November. President of the National Paralympic Committee revealed plans to host the first ever Open Para Power Sports Festival in Ghana later this year. According to him, the event is intended to offer African para athletes a platform to compete both locally and internationally.
We have come through as a head of the region. We have realized that they do not organize same within the region, the regional body, the Western, the Central, and somehow the East. So we felt that we should set a pace and standard, organize a first Open Para Sports Festival. But we have a very big challenge in the region, which is called classification. And classification is the reason why a lot of the federations that we find in Ghana are not able to continue doing the sports because they do not have the needed funds, which is the cancer of our sports, to sponsor athletes to travel abroad and get athletes classified, and for that matter be able to be identified as such to compete in that category of sports. We are organizing the first ever open classification that will give chance to our African people. It is not games at church, it is a para sports and classification championship, meaning we are doing the classification and adding, including events to it.
He appealed for the NSA's support in terms of facilities and logistics, particularly the use of venues such as the Botiman and the University of Ghana Sports Stadium.
We will gracefully need your office and your support because your facility, your human resource are going to be needed. We shall need Botiman and we shall need Legon as well. We have already started engaging many of the African and world powerhouse in parasports, where what we are looking at is that we want the diplomatic embassies here in the country to sponsor us with at least one classifier from their country. We want you to give us a special dispensation, a special attention, where our letters, where our requests can be given that speed.
In response, NSA Director General Yawan Pofwankra expressed full support for the initiative.
Congratulations on the games that will be coming up. Full support from the National Sports Authority, our facilities, our expertise, our networks, whatever it is. Institutional memory is there for, the president and his men to tap into. And I know he's going to increase the team because he would have to strengthen a strong team and make it even stronger. So that offers opportunities for others to also come on board and to learn. Today should be a milestone because in some months or years to come, we'll go back and say, yes, when he came here, he gave a very inspirational talk and he's not only, lived it, but he's walked.
That is your sports for now. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories.
Well, thank you for staying with us throughout the bulletin. It will be a wrap for the bulletin today. I am MFA Akosia Adeti. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com with our top story. File witness statement by May 26th. Court orders prosecution in a Dubois criminal trial. You also know that Iyoko has rearrested him based on fresh new charges. We'll be bringing you all of that details. Thank you for watching.